I honestly didn't think that my addiction to TikTok could get any worse, but it's like at an all-time high right now, and I'm honestly ashamed. I procrastinate doing everything by watching TikToks, and that's like my new reward mechanism for myself. It's like, if you do this, then you can sit there and watch fucking TikToks for an hour, and I don't know how to stop it. And I'm not deleting the app. But hey y'all, I'm back, and my shoulder really hurts because I got more of my tattoo done. We finished above the Michael Myers, so it looks a lot more put together. I liked how it looked before, but it looked incomplete. And so she went up higher with the flowers, and then the whole back part is done, which was the worst. It was the worst. And then it goes onto my chest. There's like a little bit of leaves that come out so it doesn't just stop. And then we're gonna do the underneath with Freddie on my next session, which is in April. But we did this like 2 days ago, and it just, she kept telling me that the worst pain was gonna be when we did across my collarbone. And so I was so fucking scared going into it because I'm like, I'm gonna die. Like, I don't think I'm gonna be able to do this. I can barely get shots at the doctor or get my blood drawn without crying. And so I was absolutely terrified, and it was surprising because this part didn't really hurt. And there were some sections I thought I was going insane because there were some parts where I literally could not feel it, and I was like, there's something wrong here. Rumble, stop attacking my carpets. Rumble does this new thing where he likes to hide under my rugs. Cats are weird. But the collarbone part, it didn't hurt me at all, which was so strange. But the back, like near my armpit and shit, oh, that really got me. But yeah, I only have one more section to go, and then my half sleeve is done, and I'm very excited. I'm so fucking happy with it. I'm gonna ramble about this for like 2 seconds, and then we're gonna get into the video. I saw a comment, and somebody was like, that Michael Myers is awful. And then somebody else was like, it looks too cartoony for me. But I don't think people realize that like this is what I wanted. If she showed me this sketch and I thought he looked too cartoony or I didn't like how it looked, I wouldn't have gotten it. I wanted it to look like this. And you don't have to like my tattoo because I don't really care. But it's just funny to me when people try to point things out as if I didn't know or I should regret like the tattoo that I like, dude, this is exactly what I fucking wanted. My tattoo artist is absolutely amazing. It's on my body and it's not on yours, so I really don't give a fuck. And then you have all the people who are like, ew, tattoos, and I'm like, okay. Anyways, I'm back and I have more of your guys' paranormal stories that I'm very excited to read. I actually found this one. These are from my subreddit. I found one that's really long. It took up 2 posts and it just sounds absolutely insane, like just fucking ridiculous. So we're gonna read it. They did put a trigger warning, so the story includes drug use, death, and gore. So if any of you don't like that shit, I don't know why you're on my channel, but you probably shouldn't listen to this. So this is the first post of the story, and it says, the time I discovered somebody died in my house from a reoccurring dream. So this happened when I was about 10 years old. I'm 21 now, and it feels like all of this happened yesterday. For some backstory, my house isn't necessarily old. It was built in the mid-50s in a suburb on Long Island. Am I weird for thinking that that's kind of old? I don't know, I feel like in Arizona, all of the houses are really updated. I feel like we don't have that many super old neighborhoods, so maybe that's just, maybe I'm dumb. The only thing of interest is that before my family moved in, 3 generations of the same family lived there. That's actually kind of cool. When the house was built, the original owner's son bought the house from his parents, and after that, his daughter and son-in-law purchased the house from him. After them, my parents bought the house, which is where we still live today. You still live there? I don't even know what's gonna happen. Honestly, I didn't even really skim this story. It's like I read the title, and then I read part of the second post. If this is about to be as crazy as I think, I don't know how you still live there. Fast forward 5 years. I'm living my best life and I'm having a normal childhood. One night I fall asleep as usual, but I'm awakened from a strange dream. In this dream, I was in my basement. It was fully finished in the 70s, so it's definitely a bit outdated, but spacious nonetheless. I dreamt that I was in the last room of my basement, which we converted into a guest bedroom. Everything was normal except for 2 doorways that don't actually exist there. I remember feeling very strange but going into one of the rooms anyways. One of them was a bathroom covered in dirt and grime. Gross. I left the room and continued to the other. In this room was a man sitting on a bed. As he stood up to greet me, I noticed how extremely tall he was. He was muscular and completely bald. Imagine a Vin Diesel type. The whole story, I'm just going to imagine Vin Diesel. When he spoke, he said his name was Michael and that he had lived there since 1995. At this point, my dream self was getting freaked out, so I woke up. I didn't really think anything of it and I fell back asleep. That is, until the next night. I had the dream again. The same exact dream. I went into my basement, discovered 2 new rooms, went in both, met a bald man named Michael in one, felt weird, and I woke up. At this point, I didn't realize I had the dream again, since I didn't think it was notable the first time I had it, so I just forgot about it. Wait, do you guys ever do that shit where you dream something and you're like, I have 100% had this dream before, but then you kind of talk yourself out of it because you're like, is that even possible? Like, there's no way like these same events occurred in 2 dreams, or this place existed in another dream. I do that all the time. I feel like my dreams collide together over time. I I had a strange sense of deja vu. This time when I woke up, I stayed awake pondering why I felt so weird about the dream. I eventually fell asleep yet again, but I didn't forget about it. When I had the dream the third time, I knew something was going on. After the third night, I told my dad about the dream I was having. I had an extremely good relationship with my dad, and I knew I could tell him anything. I told him every detail, down to the year Michael told me he moved in. He definitely thought I was just a kid having a weird dream, but he came up with a solution. My dad was a carpenter, and he decided the only way to ease my spirit after these weird reoccurring dreams was to show me that there were no extra rooms in the basement. He grabbed a stud finder and had me follow him to the basement. When we entered the room, he started planting the stud finder on all different parts of the wall. For those of you who don't know, a stud is one of the harder pieces of wood in a wall that are usually part of the foundation of your house. If you've ever hung something heavy on the wall, you may have had to find a stud. If I remember correctly, he told me he was looking for a horizontal stud behind the drywall, since it would indicate the top of a doorway. He brought the stud finder up to the wall, just about where the bathroom doorway was in my dream, and to his shock, he found a horizontal stud. At first he thought it was just a vertical stud that happened to be in the same spot. But upon moving the stud finder side to side, he concluded there had to be a horizontal stud there. He did the same thing for the other doorway, and he found the same thing. I started crying at this point because I was in shock. I thought I had to be dreaming, but I was in fact awake. After this, my dad told my mom, and it became a question of why didn't we know about this? Eventually, my dad contacted the previous owners. He asked if they knew anything about these two random blocked off doorways that were never disclosed to us. For the longest time, the guy insisted they had nothing to do with anything, and they didn't know what my dad was talking about. My dad knew this was a lie. Eventually, he contacted the previous owner's father, who we also knew owned the house at one point. This is when we found out about the death. So when the previous owners lived in the house, they decided that they wanted to rent out the basement to make a bit of extra money. They had tenants come and go until they found a single guy just needing a place to sleep at night. He was always out with his friends partying, so it was a common place for him to be unheard of for a while. His friends would pick him up and he would drink with them for days. Because he was gone so much, the owners never really thought to check up on him for anything but rent money. On one of those rent collections, the owners knocked on the basement door and they got no answer. As mentioned, this wasn't unusual. The owners assumed he was out drinking with his friends. This was not the case. A few days later, the same thing happened. The owners knocked on the basement door and they got no answer. This time, however, they smelled a putrid stench from under the door. They opened the door and found their decomposing tenant lying in his bed with a needle sticking out of his forearm. He overdosed. The owners didn't even know he used drugs, let alone heroin. The basement was a mess. Used needles covered every surface, and the room he was found in was destroyed by fluids leaking out of his decomposing body. The grime was so bad, they had to completely block off 2 of the rooms of the basement. Holy shit. This is not what I was expecting. My dad was in awe over this. He asked about the tenant. He found out he moved into the house in 1995. He was a muscular, bald man. He had lived there less than 6 months before his death. My dad asked his name. His name was Michael. And that's about it. We don't know how they sold us the house without disclosing any of this information. Nothing else has happened aside from strange sounds. I don't know why on earth I had this dream, and I don't know why it had to be me. All I know is that I'm scared, and I haven't gone to my basement in 11 years, and I don't plan to anytime soon. So that was the first part, and then they updated us. This one says I finally went into my basement after 11 years, and I regret it. I don't read these stories that often, and this is why. And I say this every time, but you guys traumatize me. Every single fucking time. Ever since we found out about the death in the house, I've avoided the basement completely, but my parents would go down for Christmas decorations, storage, and the like. A few years ago, my mom had stopped going down altogether since we had added a garage onto the house, and it was more convenient to put our clutter in there. Today, my mom and I were talking about how my dad had a super nice guitar somewhere in the basement stored away, and as a musician myself, I wanted to take a look at the guitar and maybe convince my mom to let me use it regularly. She was going to work, so she said if I wanted to use it, I would have to get it myself. Italian mom things. My first thought was, fuck no, I'm not going down there. But while doing homework, I realized I couldn't stop thinking about it, and I decided I would do it when she came home. I was not about to go into this creepy-ass basement while home alone. Then my mom FaceTimed me from work while on her break. We do this every day, so nothing out of the ordinary. But she did mention that she would like to see the guitar since she hasn't seen it in a while. I, loving my mom dearly, offered to find it under the condition she stayed on the call with me, so if anything scary happened, I would have a witness. I'll admit, I wasn't really thinking and just kind of did it since I knew it would make my mom happy. You're a good child. I walked downstairs and I'm already feeling off. I had a terrible feeling in my stomach and I should have listened to it. I turned the lights on and everything is how I remember it being as a kid, with the addition of a few boxes and bins. I start looking through the first room in my basement and I don't see the guitar, so I continue into the room. The second I walk into this room, I get a splitting headache. My mom is still on FaceTime with me, but I realize the call is starting to freeze a lot. I chalk this up to the fact that our router's upstairs and across the house. I started looking for the guitar, finally find it tucked away in a closet and try to run out ASAP. I'm still in the closet when my phone dies, which makes no sense considering it was like 12 p.m. and I hadn't used it since I woke up at 9, so it was on at least 80%. I'm struggling to get the case through this tiny little doorway, and then I hear footsteps upstairs. At first I think, okay, it must have been my dog, but these footsteps were heavy. I have a teacup Yorkie who weighs 6 pounds. There is no way she's making those. I take the initiative and get the fuck upstairs. I run to the safety of my room, charge my phone up, and answer my mom who was calling. She called me at least 4 times when my phone was dead, and the first thing she asks is, "Are you okay? What the fuck did you do?" I tell her I'm okay, but I explain the creepy things that just happened. She starts freaking out. She said before my phone died, she heard heavy breathing. I said I wasn't gonna throw this phone because it's new, but I fucking can't. And I'm almost done with the story, and so I can. She heard heavy breathing pretty much directly on the phone while I was at least 8 feet away in this walk-in closet. My stomach drops at this point, and I pretty much nope out of my house with the dog. Don't worry, she's fine. I head to the park and I try to forget what the hell happened. I just got home and I'm sitting in my car in the driveway, terrified to go back inside. I don't want to see anything freaky, especially while I'm home alone. If anything happens when I get the balls to walk inside, I will update this post, but for now I'm staying right here. Oh my god! That's it. That's literally it. That's it. Are you okay? Please let me know that you're okay. Please. Okay, well, now we're gonna read another two-parter, which seems equally as traumatizing. It says, I grew up in a haunted house, and my mom still lives there. Hey Courtney, my name is Louise, I'm 24 years old. I want to start off by saying that there is no way I could fit everything in here, because I have so many experiences. We'll be here all day. I'm going to be posting the rest in separate posts. I apologize in advance for this long-ass post. When I was 6 years old, me and my family moved into a house. We were in an apartment before, and obviously we were so excited. When we got there, it was such a beautiful home. But on the first night we stayed there, we all woke up in the middle of the night throwing up violently. We had brand new carpets that got completely ruined because we couldn't control how violently sick we all were. My mom and dad put it down to bad luck and that we all must have caught a stomach bug. But the weird thing is, we were all fine by the morning. Looking back on it and knowing how sinister and evil the house is, it freaks me the fuck out because I believe our souls or spirit or whatever could sense the evil and it made us ill. A few months into living there, I began waking up in the middle of the night and I would hear movements in my room, like somebody was there. I would look and I always saw a dark shadow in the corner of the room. But as a child, I would tell myself it's a shadow, but no matter how much I told myself, the pure feeling of dread I felt whilst looking at it made me feel like it definitely was something watching me. I woke up one night and I was facing the wall. I heard movement in my room and I decided not to turn around. I heard it moving closer to... I heard it moving closer to me until right behind me. On the floor, I heard a rustle as if somebody had stood on a carrier bag and I felt my heart drop into my stomach. I was too petrified to move, so I just closed my eyes and pretended to sleep until I eventually did. One night I woke up in the middle of the night, my bedroom door was open, and I saw light reflecting on the landing from downstairs and heard loads of people talking and music, as if they were having some kind of party downstairs. I was confused because in my head I'm like, why are my mom and dad having a party at this time? I got to the top of the stairs and I could hear talking. I couldn't make out what was being said though, and I could hear music, almost as if somebody was playing on the piano, and I could hear clicking of glasses. I started walking down the stairs, and the sound and light got fainter the farther down I was getting. As soon as I got to the middle of the stairs, it suddenly went completely dark and silent. In my 8-year-old head at the time, I thought my mom and dad didn't want me to know they were awake, so they turned everything off. I carried on going downstairs in the pitch black, and I was so confident my mom was downstairs that I walked straight into the living room in the pitch black, and I said, Mom. I turned on the light, and nobody was fucking there. I looked in the dining room and the kitchen, and nobody was there. I ran upstairs so fucking fast, and I ran into my mom's room where my mom and dad were both fast asleep. I looked at my sister who was in bed fast asleep, and my older brother's door was closed, which meant he was in bed too. When I got older, my mom told me she experienced exactly the same thing. Now my mom has loads of experiences in that house, to the point of actually waking up and seeing a demon, and she couldn't move. and my family all have different experiences of their own, which I will share in another post. Oh my god. All of what I will share now are purely my own experiences and 100% true. I will put my hand on the Bible, swear on anything, take a lie detector test, anything to prove that I am being honest and I'm not exaggerating in the slightest. Don't worry, bitch, I believe you. I have to say that because from here onwards, it gets worse. And at some points, it sounds so unbelievable that if it didn't happen to me, I wouldn't believe it. One morning, I woke up very early. Probably wasn't even 5 a.m. yet, but I was wide awake, so I decided to go downstairs and watch TV. It was Christmas time, so we had the tree up and we had lights that played music if you pushed the button. You can choose whether to have them on silent or not. To turn the TV on, I had to turn on the same switch that turned on the Christmas tree lights, which then automatically turned on the music, so I pushed the button for it to go silent. I'm sat watching TV for about 15 minutes when the tree lights start playing. I think nothing much of it, and I turn them back off. I sit back down, and after a few minutes, it comes back on. I go and turn them off again, and as I'm walking back to the sofa, they turn on again. Then I go to turn around to turn them back off, and they turn off by themselves. I got a sudden feeling of dread, and I was like, nah, fuck that. I turned everything off, and I went back upstairs. On Friday the 13th, I must have been around 10 or 11 years old. I woke up ill, so I had the day off. My mom still had to drop my little brother and sister off at school, so she left me home alone with my dog Jasper. I was downstairs watching TV when I started hearing loud footsteps coming from upstairs. At this point, it wasn't new to me, but it still scared me. Then I could hear my kitchen cupboards opening and closing, one by one, and my dog started barking like crazy and making the sounds dogs make when they cry, and he was moving back like he was scared. We had a gas oven, and when you press the gas button, it makes a clicking sound. I started to hear that, and my first thought was this fucking demon is gonna blow the house up with me in it. I thought, fuck this, and I decided I needed to get out of the house now, but I wouldn't leave my dog. His lead was under the kitchen sink, so I had to run in there and get it before putting it on him and running straight out of the house. I got down the road and I saw my mom, who I immediately told. She looked alarmed, but told me to take Jasper for a walk because I'd already put the lead on him. To be honest, I didn't really want to go home straight away anyways. This is already getting long and I have so many more experiences, so I'll finish this post off by saying during this time of me being a child, I always felt like I was being watched, especially in the shower and when I was on my own. I would hear bangs and footsteps in the night. I would see something black go across my vision randomly, like somebody ran past my eyes. And I'd come to terms with the fact my house was haunted. But it wasn't until I hit my teens where things really kicked off. I felt like I was being targeted by this entity. Entity. And some real crazy shit happened to me. But I'll explain all of that next time. And I got that post too, don't worry y'all. Hey, it's me, Louise again. To follow up from my previous post, here are some of my paranormal experiences from when I was a teenager. As I stated in my last post, even though I experienced things as a child, when I became a teenager, things worsened and I actually felt like whatever was at my mom's house targeted me. I do want to start out by saying I'm a dumb arse and I did a Ouija board with my best friend at the time. I had no clue what one was and my friend told me she wanted to speak to her granddad. I didn't think it would work at all, and it didn't really, but right near the end it started moving and we both swore it wasn't us. We didn't know or follow any of the rules, we didn't say goodbye, and we just put it away after that. God damn it. Now I'm not saying that caused my mom's house to be haunted, because it definitely was before that, but I don't know whether it let something more sinister in or whether I opened myself up to it. But after that, things got worse. My older brother moved out. I was around 13 years old at the time. My mom decorated the room and I was so excited to finally have my own room, as I had to share with my sister before. The first night I stayed in that room, I was facing the wall, my bedroom door locked behind me. I woke up in the middle of the night, still laying facing the wall. I hear somebody walking around on the landing outside my bedroom door. At first I don't really think much of it, I just think somebody had gotten up to go to the bathroom. Now I need to point out, before I tell you what happened next, is that once my bedroom door was closed, you cannot open it from the outside of the bedroom because my brother had broken the handle. This is important to note because as I'm laying there, staring at my bedroom wall, I hear my bedroom door start to open. I hear the handle pull down. There's no handle on the outside. As it's opening, the landing light is on, so it's lighting up my room, and I see it on the wall. It then slams shut again, and I feel this terrifying presence behind me. I don't know what it was, but I had a voice in my head telling me to close my eyes, pretend to be asleep, and don't let it know that you're awake. I just knew that I couldn't look at whatever it was. I closed my eyes, and no word of a lie, I feel as if a foot or leg steps onto the bed. The whole mattress dips down to the side, and then I feel it again on the other side of me. So both sides of me are being pushed down like something is standing over me. At this point, my heart is racing so fast, I'm sure you could have probably heard it. I'm crying with my eyes closed, and I'm trying my best not to scream or make noise. I want to throw my phone so bad. Then I feel this extremely heavy weight push me into the bed. It literally felt like this thing had like laid on top of me. You know when somebody lays on you and it squishes your lungs and it makes it hard to breathe? It felt like that. In my head I started praying, please God, please help me, please get this thing off of me. And I just kept repeating that in my head, and then for no reason at all, I had never heard of this before, in my head I picture this white light begin to radiate off of me, and this thing gets off, and I can feel it wasn't there anymore. I burst out crying and I was too scared to even leave the room, so I just stayed up all night crying my eyes out. I told my mom about it and she mentioned sleep paralysis, which I tried convincing myself that it was. That's how I convinced myself to sleep in there again, but it definitely wasn't sleep paralysis because I could move, I just chose not to. Well, I didn't even try to because I had the voice in my head telling me not to. Another time my friend slept over and she was laying on my massive bear at the end of my bed. We're both sleeping, and I felt like I was being disturbed by something shaking. First, as I was waking up, I thought my friend was scratching her ear. She did that quite a lot. And as I'm waking up, I even tell her to stop. As I say that, I wake up even more and I realize that the bed is shaking a lot more than I originally thought. I sit up in bed and literally the bed is shaking side to side. It's even banging against my radiator. I'm in literal shock and I start trying to wake up my friend, but she wouldn't wake up. It's like she had been drugged or something. There's no way anybody could sleep through that. I then scream her name and I start hysterically crying because not only is the bed shaking violently, I sense something evil in the room watching me. I can't explain it, but I had the feeling I was going to die. And then she begins stirring. I'm not joking you. As soon as she starts to wake up, the bed drops and stops shaking. Drops? The bed fucking dropped. It was levitating off the floor. And I didn't even realize until it dropped. It wasn't high, it must have been an inch off the floor, if that, but it definitely dropped. You'll probably think I'm lying, but I swear in everything I have, and I have children, that I'm telling the truth. My friend wakes up and she sees me crying and she's like, OMG, what happened? And she comes to hug me. I'm crying so much that I can't even get my words out. I finally managed to tell her and she cuddles me until the sun came up. Dude, I'm sorry, but if I was your friend and you fucking told me that, I'd be gone. I would dip so fucking fast. I would walk home. I don't care where I live. Even after she woke up though, I could still feel it in there with us, and it felt as if it loved the fact that I was so scared. I honestly think that whatever it is can control how people sleep to make sure you're alone so it can feed on your fear. A little experience that happened while my best friend stayed over, which she experienced too, was when we were in my bedroom. We were laying in bed watching TV and my bedroom door was right next to where my TV was. For some reason something caught my attention by the door. I was looking at the door and then the keyhole cover. It was a gold plate that covers the keyhole. And it started spinning by itself. No windows were open, and even if they were, they wouldn't be able to do that. It didn't just spin once. It spun around for a good 10 minutes, and as soon as I turned to my friend to see if she could see it, she literally said to me, ignore it. It feeds off of fear. We had to lay there, watch the film, with that thing spinning without talking about it because we knew it was trying to scare us. It eventually stopped. This actually happened when my sister moved in the room once I moved out, and she recorded it on her phone and she sent it to me, which actually gave me a panic attack because of all the crap I've been through there, and that one video brought it all back. There was no way she spun it in the video because the video was 10 minutes long, and it didn't even stop. She said she had to go over and stop it from spinning herself. I know this is already very long, but I want to tell you about one more time, which was also terrifying, and my boyfriend was with me and he experienced it with me too. So one night my boyfriend stayed over. I was 17 at the time, and my family all went to bed and we stayed downstairs to watch a movie. He was on one sofa and I was on another, and I ended up falling asleep during the film and he stayed up to watch the rest. Well, I wake up to my boyfriend literally shaking me, panicking, telling me to wake up because something scary just happened. I wake up still tired and I'm like, yeah, what? And he goes on to tell me that he heard somebody run down the stairs, but nobody came around. And at first he thought it was one of my sisters or my little brother, but it's been a long time now and he has a bad feeling. He made me go and look. I'd be like, pussy, get the fuck up. Now I look around the corner and nobody's there. I tell him no one's there and he's like, what the fuck was that then? So I just turn everything off downstairs, we go to my room and we go to bed. I'm still tired at this point, so I'm not scared. I'm not really thinking about anything to be honest, but I can tell my boyfriend is really creeped out. Before this, he hadn't experienced anything other than footsteps and all the general everyday shit that would happen. So we lay down in bed and just as I'm about to fall asleep, I hear the downstairs back door handle shake as if somebody was trying to get in. Me and my boyfriend look at each other and then we hear footsteps going from the kitchen back door through the hallway to the bottom of the stairs. My boyfriend then goes to me, I told you! We lay there listening as we hear these heavy ass footsteps going one by one up the stairs so slowly, like it's taking its time. But it sounded so heavy, like this thing was a monster, I'm not even joking. It gets halfway up the stairs and then it's silent. I hear my cat on the banister. She liked to sleep on the cabinet right next to the stairs on my landing. I hear a massive bang, as if this thing punched the banister, and then my cat screeches and runs down the stairs so fast. I could even hear my cat's claws scratch the floor as she turned the corner at the bottom of the stairs. Whatever this was fucking scared my cat. I start bawling and saying to my boyfriend that I need to help my cat. What if my cat's hurt and he's literally holding me back, telling me I cannot go out there? Then I hear the footsteps continue up the stairs. This time it was a little bit faster. I literally hear it walk up to my bedroom door, and as I said earlier, there's no handle on my door. So this thing starts pushing the door. I can hear it creaking, and we're squished into the corner of my bed, crying our eyes out, and then it stops. And right next to my room is my mom's room. All we hear is my mom's door open. Then we hear the door brushing along the carpet as it opens, and then it slams shut, like it went into her room. And nobody woke up during all of this. When I say this thing banged on the banister, it was loud. It echoed throughout the entire house. And when it slammed the door, it was loud. And no one woke up. No one heard any of this except for me and my boyfriend. It was terrifying. My cat was okay. I think this thing just scared the crap out of her, but she wasn't physically hurt. Not that I could tell anyways. I have so many more experiences, bitch. What else could have possibly happened? My friends have experiences from that house. My mom and my sisters do too. My mom still lives there and she's constantly telling me about things that have happened. Dude, tell your mom to move. Hope you don't mind how long this is. I love you. I love you too, dude. And I don't mind how long it is. I do want to know more, but at the same time, I don't think I can handle it. I don't think so. Well, fuck. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys have any other stories that you want to share with me, I'll have my subreddit link down below. You guys also have access to all of these stories, so I mean, you can read them even before I do. Both of my cats are sleeping peacefully. As soon as I'm done filming, I'm going to run over to them and just beg for comfort because I want to poop my pants. But I love you guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Look how cute they are. Look how, I think you can see them sleeping over there. They're so cute. Oh, no, that's not what I wanted to say. Oh, they're so cute. They're just sleeping. I love them.